Have you ever really, truly looked at your eye color? I mean, really thought about it? Because it's so much more than just a trait you got from your parents. It's actually a living, breathing record of human history, a story of migration, adaptation, and survival, written right there in your iris. So let's learn how to read it.
Yeah, what if it told a story? A story about where your most distant ancestors lived, the kind of world they faced every single day, and the incredible ways their bodies changed to help them survive.
Because that's exactly what it is. Every single shade, from the deepest, darkest brown to the lightest, coolest gray, is a piece of biological technology. It's a tool that's been sharpened and perfected over thousands and thousands of years. Okay, so to really get how we ended up with this incredible variety of colors, we have to go back, way back, back to the beginning, to humanity's original factory settings. So the first thing you see, and it's pretty striking, is just how much one color dominates the planet. We're talking more than 70% of everyone on Earth has brown eyes. Now, that's not some random fluke. That's humanity's original design, and it was the default for a very, very good reason. And that reason? It's all about protection. Brown eyes were the perfect adaptation for our earliest ancestors, who were living in places with relentless, blazing sun, like the African savanna. The secret ingredient here is a pigment called melanin. The easiest way to think about it is like nature's own built-in pair of sunglasses. This super dense, dark pigment doesn't just create color. Its main job is to literally absorb dangerous UV radiation before it can fry the delicate parts of the eye. Having all this melanin gave early humans a huge leg up. It meant they could see more clearly in that harsh, bright daylight. They weren't as sensitive to glare, and they had a much lower risk of getting cataracts or other sun-related eye damage. It's just a powerful, super effective design. And what about when you see eyes that look almost black? Well, that's not a different color. That's just an incredibly high concentration of that same brown melanin. This is basically level 10 sun protection. It's the most efficient biological shield you can possibly have, which makes total sense why it's so common in people whose ancestors came from equatorial regions of Africa and Asia. But of course, the human story is a story of movement. As people began migrating out of Africa and away from the equator, they ended up in darker, colder parts of the world. And suddenly, the evolutionary game completely changed. It wasn't about blocking sunlight anymore. It was about letting more of it in. And this timeline is just amazing. Somewhere between 6 and 10,000 years ago, a single person was born with a genetic mutation that basically turned down the melanin knob in their eyes. And get this, it means that every single person with blue eyes on this planet today can trace their ancestry back to that one individual, one common ancestor for all blue eyes. How wild is that? Now here's where it gets a little mind-bending. Blue eyes aren't blue because they have blue pigment in them. They have almost no pigment at all. Brown eyes are brown because the melanin pigment literally absorbs light. But with blue eyes, light enters the iris, gets scattered around, and only the blue wavelengths are reflected back out. It's the exact same reason the sky looks blue. It's not a pigment color, it's a structural color. It's an illusion. So why on earth was this mutation such a hit in places like Northern Europe? Well, because less pigment means less of a barrier. More light can actually get into the eye. In those dim, overcast climates with long, dark winters, this would have been a massive advantage for spotting prey or seeing danger. And this low-light adaptation gets even more extreme. Meet gray eyes. These have even less melanin than blue eyes. The light scatters even more diffusely, creating this incredible silver or steel-like look. It's an unbelievably rare trait, found in less than 3% of people, that offers maximum sensitivity to light. Of course, it's not a simple story of brown versus blue. There's a whole world in between. And these are the chameleon colors, arguably the most complex and fascinating of them all. This chart breaks it down really well. You've got green, hazel, and amber. And they're all made from this complex cocktail of a little bit of melanin mixed with a yellowish pigment called lycochrome. But as you can see, how that cocktail is mixed creates wildly different results. Let's talk about green eyes. They are a perfect example of this complexity. You need a very, very specific and delicate balance of pigments to create them. A little too much melanin, they just look brown. A tiny bit too little, and they'd look blue. It's this razor's edge recipe that makes them so incredibly unique. And so incredibly rare. Just think about that. Only about 2% of the entire world's population has naturally green eyes. It's a true evolutionary masterpiece. Then you've got hazel and amber. Hazel eyes are the true chameleons, right? Their mix of pigments makes them look like they're shifting from brown to green depending on the lighting. Amber eyes, though, are totally different. They're packed with that yellow lycrochrome pigment, which gives them that stunning, solid, golden color that doesn't change. It's an intensity that we often see in predators like wolves or eagles.
All right, so for our final stop, we're looking at a variation that isn't really an adaptation in the same way. It's more, well, it's a beautiful glitch in our genetic code.
And that is heterochromia. This is what happens when, during development, the melanin just doesn't get spread around evenly. It's not about adapting to more or less light, it's just a fascinating break in the pattern, resulting in one person having two totally different colored eyes. And as you can probably guess, this is extraordinarily rare. We're talking less than 1% of the population. It's a really stunning reminder that biology is full of incredible and sometimes quirky surprises.
So when you put all these pieces together, a really clear and honestly beautiful story starts to take shape. A story written in our very own DNA.
Whether your eyes are dark brown, acting as a shield against the blistering equatorial sun, or pale blue, designed to soak up every last photon of light in a dim northern winter, they are a direct link to your ancestors. Every color is a successful answer to a different problem. It's a chapter in the incredible epic of human survival. So the next time you look in the mirror, don't just see a color, see the story. Because etched into your iris is an ancient tale of resilience, of migration, and of the unbelievable journey that ultimately led to you. So, what story do your eyes tell?